Welcome on into NASCAR Mailbox. My name is Jared Haas, and we're going to take a look back at the action and answer your questions after the races at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And now this first question comes from IDK I'm Bored. They ask, if Blaney makes it in the championship race, will this be the best underdog playoff run since Tony's 2011 run? On the contrary, if MTJ, Martin Truex Jr., fails to make it, will this be considered one of his worst playoff collapses of all time? Well, two questions there. First and foremost, we'll take the part of Ryan Blaney. If you look at the past champions and where they're at with 3 races to go, Blaney is the lowest ranked, if you take regular season championship points throughout the whole season, out of the whole entire system. The only comparison would be Jimmie Johnson, who was in 9th in 2016 as he won his way into the championship race and was able to clinch that. So 9th was the worst. Ryan Blaney after this race is 10th in the standings. That's why Ryan Blaney's not on a lot of people's radars. And you even look back, excluding the Kyle Busch 2015 championship season, most of these drivers have been within the top 5 in points. They have been contenders for the championship. And even Tony Stewart with the anomaly, he was 7th after Richmond in the regular season points and only jumped up to, was at 9th, only jumped up 2 points, 8 points were gained. That's how good Carl Edwards was, and Tony Stewart was able to gain that little bit of ground and able to get through Carl Edwards with those 20 points. So, it is very likely one of the bigger upset underdog playoff runs if Ryan Blaney wins the championship, because he's not been on a lot of people's radar. He's been good, he's been consistent, but again, a lot of people have Larson, Hamlin, Byron, and they have Ryan Blaney out. You know, there's people are putting Reddick and Chris Buescher over Ryan Blaney, but this at least gives him hope now that the disqualification is rescinded. He can at least point himself in, but definitely would be a surprise if Blaney is the 2023 champion. A lot of these people, even with the point structure going back to 2011, Tony Stewart was 95 points back. Ryan Blaney to the regular season champion is 172. The only time that's been present, excluding the Kyle Busch season 2015, was Chase Elliott with 199. But that was the season of Kevin Harvick on rails. And that leads into my second point. I don't think that's Martin Truex Jr.'s collapse if he misses the championship 4 or the champion race would be the biggest collapse of all time. I would argue Kevin Harvick's 2020 season, where he was the best car, won 9 races that season, and was only a couple corners away from tying it, tried to move Kyle Busch and spun himself out as well, and was just a few points short of make it into the playoffs. So Blaney, recapping it, he would be a pretty impressive underdog season, comparing what an anomaly it would be for someone that so lowly ranked in the playoffs would make it in. But Kevin Harvick, though, had a bigger collapse in 2020 compared to Martin Truex Jr. And now this next question comes from Andrew James S. 6757. They ask, does Riley Herbst's Xfinity Series win change NASCAR's fans' outlook on him instead of calling him a pay driver? Riley Herbst has quite a bit of bad luck in his career. He's had multiple DNFs due to crashes, and even it seems like races that needed to perform well at like Daytona, he had issues on the track. And seemed like it's either he'd have a really bad day or just not on the radar. And I think this win, especially for a 15-second win, was able to prove that Riley Herbst is able to maintain pace, able to close out the deal. I think also that needs to be looked at as Riley Herbst's races in the Cup Series. Scored a top 10 in the Daytona 500 and was even running top 5 late at Talladega before being relegated to a 9th place finish. I think there needs to be a little bit more consistency from Riley Herbst for people to consider, not him as a pay driver. That's someone that is a contender. I think it doesn't help Riley Herbst trying to break that mold when you have Cole Custer, who's had experience in the Cup Series, who's had pretty good success in the Xfinity Series, being your teammate, being the gold standard of how you should perform. Riley Herbst hasn't really done that yet. A lot less Cup starts compared to Cole Custer. But I think there's starting to be some footing there and starting to feel like that Stewart-Haas Racing is a home with him at Ford, and that he's not being bounced around by different teams. So it's a good first step. It's just those other runs, not having misfortune, take them out, and clicking off consistent top 10s, I think is the next step for Riley Herbst. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like and subscribe. That really helps us out there. And as always, make sure to have a great race weekend.
This is Timmy Hill, driver of the 56 Toyota. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also check out one of those videos beside me and visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.